We found an abandoned structure in the midst of the wilderness. I wish we hadn't. Part 2. I nodded in agreement, sensing Derek's genuine concern. Despite the unsettling bottomless staircase, we pressed on, hellish or not. We were determined to reach an end, fortunately. After a few more minutes, we reached the bottom. Well, good news if one of us gets hurt. The other only needs to drag them up 7 flights of stairs. Derek joked, but the humor fell flat, leaving an uneasy feeling. The space resembled a subway tunnel without tracks. A long vacant expanse with concrete walls and no end in sight as Derek began walking into the tunnel. A growing sense of unease settled over me. It escalated when we heard an eerie high-pitched synth echoing within the tunnel, stopping abruptly. We felt queasy as the tones resonated within the space. The sounds became ear-piercing. I found myself on my knees, hands covering my ears, enduring the overwhelming ringing, just as I thought. I'll black out. The sound ceased. Derek and I exchanged glances, nodding in agreement that our curiosity had reached its limit. We hastily retreated. As we headed back, a new sound emerged, footsteps within the tunnel. Our pace shifted too. A jog, then a run, fueled by the realization that we're likely the only ones exploring this forsaken place. We ran until we stumbled upon the staircase. Catching our breath, Derek began, approaching the stairs, I felt the weight of rubble blocking our exit. No energy remained for panic or screams. I slumped down, fixating on the grim reality we faced. That sound, it has to have caused something to collapse. Derek tried to rationalize, but my weak response cut through. Derek, we are going to die down here. Before he could reply, we were reminded of the approaching footsteps. Panic surges as the shuffling figure emerged from the shadows. Without words, Derek and O shared a nod, preparing to fight for our lives. With a deep breath, you lifted up his flashlight, directing it towards the figure. My throat tightened as I couldn't find the words as Emily stood before us. Derek's supposedly deceased sister, bruised, beaten, and clad on tattered clothing. She looks a ghastly apparition. Emily had died just months ago. Her presence here defied all reason. Emily, I thought you were... Derek faltered, tears swelling up in his eyes. Emily weakly smiled, a haunting sight, but something was off. She stood frozen, as if incapable of movement, her head bowed, trying to meet her eyes. I sensed an unsettled void. Derek, she uttered weakly. Derek, overwhelmed with emotions, moved towards her, arms outstretched for an embrace. Time slowed as he approached. I couldn't warn him in time. Couldn't shout for him to stop. I saw the abyss within her eyes, the hellish grin she struggled to conceal. She seized him and their gaze locked, the look of terror etched onto Derek's face, haunting my memory. Then, with an unhinged, jaw-defying reason, Emily clamped onto Derek, who began to scream, but his cries were silenced as the creature devoured his head. I ran instinctively without a thought, abandoning my friend to a gruesome fate. The tunnel echoed with eerie synth, the ringing returning, until I felt numb and lost. Suddenly I snapped back to consciousness, lying at the entrance of the structure. It was still daylight. Confused, I sat up, bag intact with water and food. The events eluded me. I considered hiking back, reporting Derek missing, and explaining the separation as a common occurrence in large parks. I kept the structure a secret. Haunted possibility of Derek's survival, an inexplicable urge beckoned me to return, to face the structure once more. Thank you for following. Please subscribe to our channel for more creepy Reddit stories like this.